Good afternoon. This is Robert with Virginia Farm Bureau's Grain Division. Thankful and glad to bring you the Merchandiser Minute today for Friday, November the 20th, 2020. Let's take a look at how the futures closed out this week in Chicago. December corn up 13 cents a bushel after a week's trading to close at $4.23. January soybeans, another big week up again, up 33 cents a bushel this week to close at $11.81. And your new crop wheat, July 21 wheat futures down 4 cents for the week to close at $5.98. We had a week that we've just come through where once again it looks like wheat is following corn. And we've seen some flip-flop back and forth of that over the summer and the fall months, but again it looks like we've seen wheat flip back into the mode of following corn. When we take a look at some of the themes this week, we had a lot of news again. That goes without saying. We had more vaccine news, more lockdown news. We had trade optimism. We had trade pessimism. We saw intraday moves in the futures markets. Many days this week, 3 out of 5 days this week that were interesting to watch and try to put your finger on why they were moving the way they were moving in Chicago, whether it was coming from producers selling or from the speculator. We did get the managed money report today in the commitment of traders report. I got that a little bit early today. We still have the speculators net long wheat, corn, and beans, with building a very near record large long position in the soybean market. So we always want to know what those managed money folks are doing, and they're telling us clearly their optimistic price is going higher before it goes lower for Chicago wheat, corn, and bean futures. We also saw this week the National Oilseed Producers Association, their October crush report showed a record-breaking month for crushing soybeans. The number came in at 185 million bushels crushed here domestically. As Jonah Bowles used to say here at Farm Bureau, and I appreciated it, nobody cares about a soybean. People only care about its components, the hulls, the meal, and the oil. And one thing we've also are noticing right now that's going on along with this strength in the futures market for beans is that soy oil and soybean meal are also rallying and in what most analysts would call a bull market. We also, again, this is the second week in a row, I talked about this last Friday, there's a lot of rumors in the trade about China being in for and putting out tenders for a large purchase of U.S. corn. We're waiting for that. There are rumors they would purchase as much as 1 million metric tons in one deal. We're not seeing that yet, and along that front, it's been a long time since we see China pop up on the daily flash sales reporting system for soybean purchases. When we get the weekly export sales report, they're there, top of the list for soybeans, but they're finding a way to buy them kind of under the radar where they're not showing up on the daily flash sales announcement system. So just some information there going into next week. We're definitely going to be looking and hoping for that big announcement that everybody's rumoring, a big corn purchase from China. When we look at some of the USDA numbers, that's a good transition. If we look at the weekly export sales report Thursday, we saw corn way above what was expected with Mexico and Japan as our top customers. We are 166% ahead of last year on our corn sales. We're up 117% over last year on our soybean sales. Another big week, way above trade expectations with China on the top of the list for bean sales and Mexico in the number 2 spot. And wheat up 10% year over year on export sales. This week's report, we were below the trade expectation, and China was on top of the list for wheat, and Mexico was number 2. Some other USDA numbers this week, I would just say Virginia wheat planted acres came in as of Sunday, coming into the week, 79% planted. The 5-year average in Virginia for winter wheat plantings this week is 75%. I know y'all have gotten, different parts of the state, y'all have gotten some more wheat planted this week as the land has dried out. Virginia beans harvested 61% coming into this week. 5-year average is 67%, and I know y'all have made a lot of progress this week cutting beans. What are we going to be looking for going into next week? It's going to be A lot about South American weather. We know a lot of this rally that we've seen and are seeing is because of not only tight supplies, but also weather concerns, supply concerns. So we're going to be watching the GFS and the European weather models twice a day, every day. This afternoon, looking at the GFS model, there's very little rain in the forecast for most of the ag regions of Brazil for the next 10 days. So we'll see how the market will trade that when we open Sunday night at 8 p.m. Remember, we've got a shortened trading week next week for the Thanksgiving holiday. So that's going to make things interesting next week, as well as anyone who has unpriced cash contracts over the December futures, whether it's corn or wheat, old crop wheat. We've got to get those contracts either priced or rolled by Friday. So if we can help you with anything at Virginia Farm Bureau, give us a call. This is Robert Harper.